So how do you lay out your aquaponics system? Now, first thing I'm going to say is that every aquaponics system is different, so you're going to need to cater to your own needs. But let's have a look at a video and see the best way of setting up your aquaponics system based on your filtration and the needs, and have a look at how you can make it work in different situations. Pretty cool. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm putting videos up every couple of days, so make sure that you hit subscribe so you can get all of them. Alrighty, so as I said before, aquaponics is something that is based on everyone's individual needs and systems, right? So for instance, this is a 3 by 3 meter area and doesn't allow for your normal way of doing aquaponics, but we get to get creative. Now, isn't that fantastic? So I've got a video, not a video, I have a picture that I'm putting up right now that's actually going to show you and talk, so we can talk through it. Now, generally what you want to do is you have your fish tank, then you have your mechanical filtration, you then have your biological filtration, and then you often have your growing area. So whether that's a grow bed, whether that's an NFT system, so the PVC piping, or whether that's your deep water culture, whether that's a tower side of system set up, and then you'll have your sump. So this is for your larger type systems. Now, it varies a little bit. For instance, in this picture that you're seeing that there's the fish tank, your mechanical filter, so removing all of the solid waste from that system. Then you've got the biological filtration. Now, often for aquaponics, we usually use that as a grow bed. So that's both the growing of vegetables and the biological filtration are all in the same setup, right? That's the common thing. And that's the common thing. I'll get to the but in a minute. Then the water drops into your sump. The water goes from your sump back into the fish tank. The easiest way of doing that is by just doing that in a straight line. We don't always have that happening though, do we? We can't always have that. For instance, in a 3 meter by 3 meter area, I can't have that happening. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Sorry to interrupt. Look, to really boost your aquaponics learning, jump on over to my website for some free online training, and it's really structured and it's going to help you get a really good grasp of how this works, rather than trying to pick it bits and pieces everywhere. Let's get the foundations happening, okay? So some free online training at www.theaquaponicslady.com. Jump on over and get your free training about that. Alrighty, so now we come to the but. Changing photos here, hopefully. I'm now showing you the nutrient film technique. So that's the nutrient film technique is all about how we're growing our vegetables. So we don't have a grow bed in this instance. So again, you'll have your fish tank, you'll have your mechanical filtration, which is often some type of radial flow filter or solid separator, some type of way of removing the solid waste. Then you have the biofilter. Okay, so this is where the biological filtration happens. Often that's what happens in your grow bed, but you're not going to have a grow bed in this nutrient film technique. So you'll have these two types of filtration side by side. That's the way the plumbing will make it easiest, simple, most direct way. The water will then go from your biofilter into your nutrient film technique, or also into your deep water culture, another way of doing it. The water will drain into your sump, and again it is pumped back from your sump into the fish tank. See how there's a very linear process happening. But what do you do if you don't have room for a linear system? And that is what I'm wanting to show you now, because this system behind me is not linear. And I've also got a little barrel system here that I'm wanting to show you that's also not quite linear. So let's have a look at how we can alter the layouts to make sure that we're getting all of the filtration happening properly, so we're not going to be clearing up our system. Yeah, let's get into it and have a look. Alright, so there's two things I'm wanting to show you here. One, I've got my big fish tank, and we have the piping that comes at the bottom of the tank. All of the solid waste and all of the water comes out the bottom, and comes up into this pipe up the top and into my mechanical filter. So my mechanical filter is a solid separator, not a radial flow filter. You can see the water outlet here, and you won't be able to see because of the shadows and that, but the water is actually swirling around in there. Solid waste sinks, cleaner water comes out the top. Water comes from here into the pipe, going down and into my sump area, which I have covered because I have lots of sun here and I really don't want the algae building up in here. Okay, but my system is different. As I said, this is a 3 by 3 meter area. So I have an overflow pipe that brings water into my grow bed. I'm going to take you around the other side and show you what that means. But while we're on this side, the water comes out from the fish tank. The solid waste is mostly down the bottom, but occasionally you do get, you know, some of the finer solids still floating around in your tank somewhere. So they will go into the grow bed. But we don't want that happening because that's going to cause anaerobic areas, so areas that don't have any oxygen, because it'll get all clogged up with solid waste. So I have to have a mechanical filter over there as well, which I'll show you in a sec. But just sticking with the grow bed, this particular grow bed is also our filter, so it converts all of the ammonia into nitrite and nitrate. And I have the second pipe here that takes all of that water and puts it in the sump, but then you see they have the piping that takes the water going back into the fish tank. So let's come around to the other side to show you. And I deliberately haven't cleaned this part of the filter today because I wanted to show you. So we have our fish tank there. You can see the red valve, the white pipe coming through. And I have a solids trap here. So this is my mechanical filter here, which catches most of the solid waste. And I have a little bit of duckweed that has come through as well. But having a little solids trap here means that I don't end up with all the solid waste in my grow bed. We don't want that because, as I said, that's going to cause problems within the grow bed. So this needs cleaning, but I really wanted to show you what it looks like and why it's important. All of this solid waste would end up in the grow bed. It would clog up this area. It would get smelly, the bacteria would start to die off, and that will then start affecting not just the plant growth, but the water quality as well. So we have to make sure if you've got water coming into your grow bed from your fish tank, and honestly, a lot of people have water coming from their solid separator or radial flow filter into their grow bed. That is often the way of it. I would still have some form of solids trap to catch any extra solid waste. So that is how I set up a 3 by 3 meter area to grow lots and lots of food. And just saying, this basil is over 3 feet high. It is going awesome. It is going so well in here. So let's have a look at the smaller little system now. Now having a look at a little system, a little barrel system, you can see we don't have it in the same linear format, but we still have all of the components. So we have our fish tank at the bottom, and the way I've set this particular system up is I've got the pump pumping water straight up into a mechanical filter. So this is where it catches the solid waste, because I don't want any of that solid waste to come on either side and going into the grow beds. So the grow beds, if you remember, this is where we grow our veggies, as well as growing the bacteria that convert all of the ammonia into nitrite and then nitrate. Water then filters down through that and comes out the bottom in the pipes down there. Now, just because me being who I am, this is constant flow, so the water is constantly at this level, and this is a flood and drain system with a bell siphon in it, so you can see the bell, and it's getting ready to wanting to pump out, whereas this side, that water is constantly at that level with that standpipe there. It's demonstrating I've done a huge harvest recently, so you can, that's why it's a bit emptier than normal. But yeah, you can see that this is how you would lay out a small little system to make sure you've got all of both filtrations needed. So we've got the fish tank, we've got the solids filtration, so also known as the mechanical filter, and then we've got the biological filtration on either side, and the water gets back in. Nice little circle that it goes around in, really. Very small little system, little setup, but it works super duper well. And that is how you would lay that out. A lot of people miss the step of having the mechanical filters, especially in a small system. It's going to end up clogging up all of the grow bed. You're going to need to clean it all out. So honestly, it's too much work. Keep it simple, keep it clean to begin with, and you're not going to have to worry about that. In the flood and drain side, you'll see that, yeah, I do have some ginger. I do have oregano, some little bit of spinach. The coriander sort of turned up its tail. We've had really bad humidity for 2 weeks, and coriander likes it cooler, not hotter, so, you know, you deal with that sometimes. But yeah, that's how we would lay out a small little system. Pretty cool.